There's only one place to learn the latest. There's only one place to hear the greatest. There's only one place for your information. It's the Off Book Podcast. Off Book Podcast. Okay. No other hosts like me. Come check it out. You'll see.
Shoot you up.
What's up? You know, I'll be forgetting that Martin used to work for a radio station on the show sometimes until I just did that. Anyway. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Off Book. I'm Kim Exum.
I'm in Gazelle.
Do that again. I stepped over you.
All good.
Y'all got the names on the test. Y'all can.
I'm Kim Exum.
I'm in Gazelle.
And I'm Jason VC.
Oh, snap. Look at us.
Yay. Welcome to the Off Book Podcast. We're sorry we're late, guys. We had some technical difficulties that were not my fault. Okay. Before we get there, it was not my fault, but we did have some technical difficulties. But, you know, we're here. And yeah, thanks for rocking with us, even though we're late and on some CP time. My bad. I feel bad. I feel like people, not to say that people over here waiting on bated breath for us to go live, but I feel like when you watch every week, you're probably like, where the fuck are they? What are they doing? Is there one today? Is there not? Anyway, so I'm in Guzzy this week. How was your week, guys?
Oh, goodness. How was your week, Jason?
My week was good. I am currently in New York, Concrete Jungle, where dreams are made of.
Nice.
Here on business.
We love to hear it.
On business. Kicking it, having some rosé. Here for my final installment of being a guest here.
We've loved you. Until next time. Until
next time. Yes. It's been good. It's been nice and revitalizing and kind of, it's always weird coming back here when you haven't been gone for a long time and being like, what's going on? It's also weird too because I'm such an uptown Negro. And where are you right now? So I'm kind of like, oh snap! It doesn't feel like New York yet because I'm used to the uptown foolishness.
Yes, and it feels like new, right? Like when you're like, oh, I'm in Brooklyn. Like when you're in a new borough, it's like, oh, this is new New York. I haven't been to this New York. What's
going on over there? What's around the riverbed?
And Brooklyn's cute. During the pandemic summer, Brooklyn was like Europe.
Oh yes, Brooklyn was great in this summer
because European cheese.
She gives it's villagey. It's not West Villagey, but I feel like I'm in little town, the quiet. That's how I fucking feel in Brooklyn.
She's like LA. She's got some tricks up her sleeve, but not enough to convince me yet.
Oh, okay.
To be
all right.
Yeah. When I have no job, Brooklyn is. But when I have a job. And when someone wants me to go to Brooklyn for a job without paying for my car.
Brooklyn is where I have gotten the most trouble, the most man trouble. There's there was a whole, I will say the summer of 2011, I will say was quite fruitful.
I think I got pregnant in Brooklyn.
I'm telling you.
I'm so serious.
No, I'm telling you, I could have gotten. I'm surprised I didn't get pregnant in Brooklyn. I should just say that's what I have to say about my Brooklyn niggas. Shout out to Silk.
I did not. I've never gotten pregnant in Brooklyn. I have acquired some things that can be taken care of in a pill in Brooklyn, but children I have not.
Yes. I remember I went down. I remember there was one carnival that I went to, and it was the summer of 2013. And I remember I had done so much damage in the 2011 that walking a block was a problem. I'm like, oh, you, oh no, you.
Oh, so, you did that kind of damage.
I mean, because so Carnival was Ghost of Christmas Past, and it was like,
Yeah,
and it was
sure.
the Caribbean, and like I just love the Caribbean. So like, what am I gonna do?
That's a great sketch idea. Like the carnival or Ghosts of Carnival Past, just visited by like all in the tradition of the Dickens, but the Dickens.
Your Vincents, and your imperialist names, and
Brooklyn
it
makes
was
me think of like throughout like my 17 years in the city, like
Mm.
those summer nights that just like you go out, it's impromptu. Next thing you know, you're like waking up somewhere. There might have been a situation. You feel like you can conquer the world.
Yes.
You're living your life. That's Brooklyn
Yes.
to me.
It does feel free. I remember I was in a relationship, my longest New York relationship, and we were some Brooklyn ass going people. We did not live in Brooklyn, but if there was a day to be had, it was either going to be had in Washington Heights or it was going to be had in Brooklyn.
Washington.
Yes.
It was going, but it was not going to be had in Harlem. It was going to be had on either end of the earth.
Harlem's too close. There's too many people that know your business in Harlem. You got to.
Yes, exactly. Harlem is too family. It's too family
It's
over
too
there.
family.
It's too family. I love it now, even though I am still partial to. I don't know. Now I'm becoming like really bougie and white. And I'm like, God, it would be so lovely just to live on the Upper East Side where it's clean,
and quiet.
Like Upper East Side, like proper, like in the 60s or the 80s, not East Harlem-esque Upper East Side. Real.
Oh. Yeah,
that is rather white.
Well, I'm like all of Harlem, no, but like Strivers Row in Harlem, absolutely. Like give me like a couple of blocks,
like the little Bill Cosby Row, like on Convent. Yes.
Convent is one of my dream streets.
Yes.
God. But yeah. How was your week?
So my week, can I say this? I can be specific, but I won't be specific.
I was like, are you gonna?
I was asked to be in a season, so I'm.
Yeah. Can you
to be in a season?
Theatrically or cinematically?
Theatrically.
Oh, to be in a season of okay.
You don't have to say it, but like when you say have to be in a season, meaning like a piece
as a playwright,
like resident artist situation, like signature.
As a playwright to have my play produced.
Oh,
what
amazing!
What theater is it? Tell us why it's roundabout.
Oh, I am too in my blackness for roundabout. They already have their resident black. Kenny's taking care of all the blackness there. So I was asked to be in. Yeah, so I was asked, yes, I will not say which theater, but I was asked to be in a season. So it was a lot of theater's back. So it was a lot of it was like excitement, but also caution, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
well, congratulations. It's incredible.
Thank you. So I think I can say that. I just can't say what theater and what play and what have you. But other theaters,
I'm assuming it's
it's not them.
I'm assuming it's a play that has not been produced.
Correct.
From yours, correct? It's not like
correct.
Right. We don't know the piece. Okay, great.
We don't know the piece. So
incredible.
So that's exciting. So that was exciting, and then it was like, oh, shit. Oh, I should work on that play.
oh shit. It's gotta. Oh right.
Yeah. Oh right. It's definitely gonna go on a stage if another catastrophe doesn't boil over, and I should probably revisit that piece that you like. That's a first draft, I think. But okay.
Not touched since.
Yeah. So get to work. But yeah, so that's cool, and that was exciting. And whenever like exciting things happen, I then get incredibly depressed and overwhelmed. So then it was like, oh, but what about? And then it was like, bitch, breathe. Like, enjoy this. This is lovely. This means that things are coming back. A producer of the musical I'm working on is also like, let's get to workshops. I'm like, all right, you relax. Let's get to vaccinations, and then we can go ahead.
Let's get these tracks. Let's get the tracks finished first.
Yeah, let's get.
Can I
like
construct a break? Can I construct a breakdown at least? Like, damn.
But so it's weird. It feels like everybody is, things are happening, things are moving, but it feels, it does feel like, oh, right, we have to. I've gotten used to.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, I got to go back to people. Like I definitely got to go back to people now. So I got to prepare myself for what that is, artistically and emotionally. But I'm excited. It's like lots of big changes. I go to New York tomorrow. I move to New York tomorrow morning.
Hey,
I'll be giving you the Instagram lives in the morning of like, we're up, we're driving to New York, mom's here, brother's girlfriend is here, and we're in this apartment. So we'll be doing a live like morning, like, ooh, look at the appliances, all that.
I forgot to, I should have texted you this before we got on here. I also feel like your journey with this apartment, there's a plane here, but not about you getting the apartment, about you maintaining and keeping that apartment past this situation.
It's about to be a true finesse. Yes. A true
about the finesse.
Okay. All
it's
right.
about to be
I'm going to paint a wall just to stake my claim.
Yeah.
Look at Elle Morgan over here bringing. This is why your apartment worked out. Space is being made.
Hey, Elle Morgan. What's
Hallelujah.
What is your sign? I feel like what's Elle Morgan's
sign? She's a Cancer.
She's a Cancer. Yeah. Okay.
Ultimate match.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
It's true. That's right.
Yes.
Now, she's my vibe. She's my vibe.
Now, question: if I could figure out where your apartment is in reference to a major theater, inconvenience, but can I guess you tell me?
No.
Okay. Okay.
She's like, no.
I've shared too much.
The strides that have been made for Ngozi just saying that aloud in front of how many people watching? 25 people plus me and you. I think is just, it's a lot of growth here.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like
I'm
also sitting here over here vague booking, being like, I'm here for business. I'm not telling you anything.
Exactly.
He's being sued, you guys. He's being sued.
It's not a gig, it's a court date.
It's a court date. He's being sued.
It's a court date. It's alimony. And I'm not trying to tell you how much.
Jason has an 8-year-old, a 15-year-old.
Well, do I put in the Jamaican stereotype here or later?
Now he's got his children floating around.
Got you.
Come on, week. Okay, I guess my week. My week was busy as fuck. It was really busy. I got really overwhelmed at one point. I forgot how to sing at one point. Jason had to talk me off of a cliff. Even though I didn't forget how to sing, was all in my head. It was a lot of mental things happening, and I got really overloaded with the self-tape thing. I just was like, I don't know how many characters one should be in a day. But it was giving like some John Leguizamo solo show type amount of characters for these self, like how many I felt like they were. Even though I'm like, people be getting like 5 in a weekend. I'm like, it was a lot. But it was a good week, just busy. And I just felt overwhelmed and really, really tired. And but I'm gonna blame that on my period, which is coming in like 3 days. So I think that's really, but it's also interesting because at work, like at Mormon, sometimes like as like the women in the show, we would discuss certain things about what it means to like be an artist and have a what? What's in the blanket? I don't know. Oh, this. What it means to like be an artist who menstruates and have to like do this product every single day and the effect that has on your body. And of course, not every menstruating person is going to have the same experience, but like period voice, like what it feels like to have a hormonal change happening in your throat, or like, your body being in pain and still having to execute this thing, or like mentally you're just like, and for me, I feel like mentally certain things that I'm seeing when I'm in that hormonal state are not real. They're not accurate. They're just emotions, emotions that are not accurate about myself. I tend to experience like a lot of imposter syndrome in that time. I feel like I overthink things a lot. I feel depressed during that time. So it does become difficult sometimes, I think, to execute, especially if you're being overwhelmed. But it's just like I don't know. It's just interesting to me that it's never considered in any field aside from just acting. That part of your life never it's never used. It can never be an excuse. You just have to like work through it. But it's a reality. And I kind of realized that during this week. I'm like, okay, something's up with me. Oh, this is what's up with me. But it doesn't even matter. I still have to execute, you know, and act as though everything is like the other 20 something days in, you know, the month. Anywho, that was my week. And yes, I'm trying to be more inclusive with my language. So, you know,
look at Miss Kim and her growth. Look at this.
Growing.
Come on, A student.
But yeah, that was it. You know, that was my little week. But I'm just glad that it's the weather.
I was very taken aback by the gorgeousness of the weather in New York. I was taken aback. Because Colorado is just being like dumped on right now with the snow. So when I got here, I was just like, do I need to go outside right now? Like, do I need to like find a rooftop or something? But yeah, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here.
It's supposed to snow on like Tuesday though, or something like that.
Yeah, welcome back. You guys.
I left and brought some snow to LA, and then I came back and brought some snow here.
It snowed in LA?
There was like a rain hail situation.
Like the wintry mix situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't
the
cute.
Lord is coming back.
Yeah, I didn't. I stayed inside. Is that the rapture? Is that what's happening?
It's like this weather thing happening. Like, oh, you guess what happened in LA? Oh, it was a blizzard. Like what? Where? In Oh, okay. And in New York, it's 81. Like it's just very strange. But okay,
so y'all,
I guess
it's been a year, yo. It's been a year. It's been a year since the quarantine.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I looked back on some of the, because I saw other actors posting about, you know, and so I looked back and I posted. I remember the last day in the theater, I went in. It was me and, you know, because they called us, said that the show was canceled for a month. And if we needed to get anything out of the theater, that we needed to come now because that for a month, you know, we need to come now. So I was like, oh, I have to go get my prescription. So I had to go down to the theater to get, and I think Ezzy's stroller was at the theater as well. So I needed to get her stroller and I needed to get my medicine. And I went, and as we were there, me and our stage manager, Sarah, one of our stage managers, we were like, I guess we should clean out everyone's fridges because after a month, everything's going to be rotten. So we went through and we cleaned out everyone's refrigerators. Any food that was left out, we just threw in the trash. And it was just very like, okay, I guess we'll see you in 30 days. And afterwards, me and Sarah went and had a drink and we were just talking about how it's crazy. And then it's not been a month. It's been a year. Like, it's absurd.
Where were you this time last year, Jason?
This time last year, I was in St. Louis at the St. Louis Rep. I believe it was a Friday. That's the day before Tech. Broadway had shut down the day before. We were pretty confident that we were going to be okay because at that point in time in the Midwest, no regional theaters had really made any sort of wordunsies except for in Florida. And there were no cases of anything in St. Louis at the point. So we were prepared for the worst, but like also hopeful. And yes, we were about to start Tech for this musical, an original musical about the life of Miriam Makeba, written by Sonia Coleman, who was nominated for a Grammy this evening.
Hey, Grammys!
For a Grammy this evening.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
So proud of her. And then, you know, like most regional theaters, they fly you back to wherever you need to go for your charge. So I was like, you know what? Don't take me back to New York. Let me go home to Colorado and visit my parents because I haven't been home in years, thinking it was going to be 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, I'd be able to come back. And, you know,
it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was in Nigeria and I was flying in from Nigeria, and it was like the beginning. A college in Nigeria had done my play, so they had flown. Yeah, it was cool. So they had flown me out. They were doing like this thing. They do like a Black History Month sort of like thing in February, like an African American History Month, and this was the year that they wanted to do like a Nigerian American. Because they had done like Raisin in the Sun, stuff like that, and they'd flown out like, you know, like they'd fly out like a Black American director, or like they'd fly out like a guest artist to like study like Black American work. And then this year the students wanted like a Nigerian American, so they literally like Googled like Nigerian American playwrights in America, and like I came up. And so and based on their theme, they picked the Homecoming Queen. So they'd flown me out there, and it was like the beginning of like the Corona talks, you know, and like I think like someone had come from like Nigeria, but it was like a white person. Like there's like the first case in America had happened right as I was like flying in. And I remember like being on the plane and like no one, like if you sneezed or if you coughed, it was like you would be like, just like they'd like try and throw you off the plane almost. Right. Yeah, it was like, my friend, cover your mouth. Like it was just like, it was like, okay. And I think like I got to see Katori's play. I got to see, what was that play called? It was at
Hot Wing King.
Hot Wing King. So I got to see Hot Wing King. I was staying at a loft, and then
that's the last show you saw.
That's the last thing I saw. That's the last show I saw. So Hot Wing King, and then I flew over to LA, and then we were quarantined.
The last show I saw was the show that was at the theater before us, and it was a wonderful production. It was The Mystery of Irma Vep, a two-hander. That's the last show I saw.
The last show I saw was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Part 1.
Were you supposed to see the other parts?
Well, okay. So what had happened was, so the day before that day, because I think on Monday, because I think we shut down on a Wednesday. So on Monday, I had an audition for the Little Shop remake, and everyone and their mama was there. But it was a Little Shop remake, and I was like, I killed that fucking audition. I'm expecting a callback. Never got one, darling, because of the shutdown.
Was this for the stage one or for the film? Was this for the
film?
This film, okay,
wow. Film. And you know, anyone that you can think of who's like my height and vocal type was there. And it was a nice little inclusive Black girl moment. And my friend Chanel came to watch Ezzy while I went into the room. So we went in, we did the little audition, left, and then of course we're in the streets. And because coronavirus is kind of imminent, also prior to that, I got an email from like Mormon PR, and a lot of different producers were, because New York was not shut down, they were trying to encourage people to come to the theater by putting certain perks in play. So we were actually booked to do some press. We're booked to do some press, right? So we're out in these streets. I'm booked to do press. I just had our audition. This is masks aren't even a fucking thing. We're not scared. And then Harry Potter, you know how they be in Times Square walking around. He's like, the tickets are $45. And we were like, for both parts? And he was like, certainly. And I was like, well, we can't see the second part because we have a show, but bitch, $45 or whatever it was, that's worth it. So me and Chanel bought tickets for the Wednesday. No, I guess we shut down maybe on a... No, it's Harry Potter. So yes, for Tuesday. We bought tickets, I guess, for that matinee. And then we were going to try and see the second part just at another time. And then the next day we went to work. Well, we didn't go to work.
Because your show also, because I remember distinctly, I had a good friend from back in college. Her mom came to town and she was like, what show should we see? And I was just like, well, actually, Book of Mormon, you guys also did like a full like.
Yeah, we had like
closing out situation. Let's go.
Yeah.
$50 ticket. So
I also had tickets to see Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or I was about to. Like niggas was really about. We were out here. When I say that we were calculated, we were like, we were gonna see a play until the wheels fall off. We were gonna see Broadway shows. Like we were all like, on what you gonna see? Grab me a ticket to Company. Grab me a ticket to whatever. We about to be in these seats,
right?
And then everything just shut down. And the crazy thing to me is that no one expected it to be a year. None. We were like, after the month is over, like maybe August, and or maybe July was the first one.
Yeah.
And then maybe August. And then I think after August came and went, actually, I think after July, everybody just like, we ain't never.
By the time it got to July, it's like, we're like, no.
I gave up on April. It's kind of like, child. I feel like we had a restaurant where they're like, we can seat you between 10 and an hour and a half. Where they were just like, I was like, y'all need to stop giving us these time dates. Just be like, we'll be back soon.
Yeah, LA was like, we're closed.
We're closed.
Like LA didn't actually give you any dates. Yeah, LA was like, we're closed. We're done. Stop going out. No hiking. Stop it.
Stay home.
And Cuomo was like, they were like, so when's Broadway? He said, fuck a Broadway. What are we talking about? People are dying. he was like, Broadway. He said, that's what? Please move that to the back. Just for speaking, move it to the back of my list. Because people are dying. I was just like, not the $1 billion industry. He said, fuck the $1 billion industry. Like, no. Fuck the family. The family fucked my husband. Like, that's what kind of energy he was giving. I was like, okay. So after that happened, I was like, well, it doesn't seem like we're going to be back until either A, New York goes broke, or B, there's a vaccine and our numbers are quite down, which I think is like on the route to happening. I'm hearing August, but I still don't believe that. I think 2022. I think that it's going to be a staggered type of thing, like maybe with some shows giving you the shows that can afford to run sporadically, or the shows like Six, where there's only 6 people in the cast or something like that. Maybe they can run a bit more, but I think that that's also something they have to discuss with the union because it's not fair.
Yeah.
You know? But
it's I think it's going to be like one or two shows that are like the monster shows, the workhorses that even before COVID only need to sell at like between 5 and 10% to stay alive, like Lion King, Phantom, Wicked, all those places. I mean, don't quote me on the numbers, but if they're making enough money to where they don't have to sell 100% capacity to stay alive, or shows that are extremely small, financially don't break the back,
right.
And that have a following. You know, Six had an amazing following coming in.
It did.
I mean, enough to the point where Six, up until a certain amount of time, was paying the entire cast for a good, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right, that at least up until May or June, the cast was getting paid.
I'm actually not sure because I don't know anyone from Six. I do remember that Roundabout paid its people. I remember, because Carolina changed, they were getting some money, and it was per producer. We got paid. It was the equity. It was whatever equity decided, because equity did decide that the shows were going to pay a certain amount of something and your weeks towards your health. So we got whatever that was. I think I cashed out my vacation, which was nice to do. And I mean, in hindsight, it's just kind of crazy thinking about it, you know, and how worried about money everyone was, which is, of course, I don't know, but it's just, I don't know. But I guess we need to move on to hot fucking topics, right?
Yeah. It's still segueing in. So we're gonna move into hot topics. Kim, if you wanna hit us. I like how Kim was like, I became disinterested in my own voice. Let's move on.
I did. I was just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Oh, okay. Wait, let me go to the thingy. Oh God, this tech, honey. What is this? What is this? Oh, here it goes. Oh wait, this is the plain one. Let's just try that this week.
We love to talk about so much shit, so now it's time for hot topics.
Nice little S on the end of that. Okay.
Yeah, I like it as well. I like it as well. Well, this week's last anniversary of the pandemonium, on our section of Booked and Blessed, we have Celia Rose Gooding added to Star Trek New Worlds.
I knew she booked something because her mama posted a picture of her leaving a couple months ago. I was like, she booked. Why you post this, LaShawn? Now I want to know.
So Celia Rose Gooding, a 2020 Tony Award nominee for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for her Broadway debut as Frankie Healy in Jagged Little Pill, has been added to the cast of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the new Star Trek prequel series on Paramount Plus, according to The Wrap. The series stars Ethan Peck as Spock, Anson Mount as Captain Pike, and some other busters, and takes place 10 years prior to the action of the original Star Trek. Filming has begun, but no release date set.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
I've heard so many different pronunciations and been corrected a number of times. Therefore, I've corrected other people.
Celia?
Is it Celia? I've heard Celaya.
Well, her
I honestly have no idea.
It's on her Instagram,
if you know in
I
the
believe.
comments for sure, like let us know because I believe in speaking people's names. Correct.
I'm gonna go to it's Celia.
Celia. Okay.
Celia. It's on her. I think her pronunciation is in her Instagram or something. Come on, Michael. I just saw his little outfit for the Grammys as I went on this.
We'll get there.
Come on now. Giving it to us. But anyway, yes, Celia.
So we love it, Celia. Miss Tony Award nominee, and now getting the TV money.
Star Trek is my thing.
I wasn't a crazy Star Trek person, but I do like it. Like whenever I actually sit down and watch it, I do like it. I was a Star Trek Next Generation fan, and what was the one with the black man?
That's Deep.
That's Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
I like that one too. So I think I liked all of them. Voyager too.
Star Trek is giving the most brilliant. I love episodic TV with some through lines in it, and that because I like being able to be in it and throw it away, and be in it and throw it away, and move on my life. But I'm interested in seeing what these outfits look like if it's pre-original Star Trek. And like the technology and the design of the ship, and because they do stay so true to the universe. Which I like. Anyway, I'm here for it.
I'm definitely by no means a Trekkie. I'm not like whatever the phrase is for Star Wars, like whatever. My dad definitely.
What is the phrase for Star Wars?
I don't know.
Star Wars.
But I will say that like I grew up with Star Trek in the house all the time because my dad loved it in all incarnations, and I think because it's episodic, Star Wars has done a better job because it's more consistent with having a more consistent and continuous comment through science fiction on what's happening in the world, in the world now.
Amen.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Got it. Star Trek.
Yes.
Yeah. And I haven't watched the new ones. Yeah. Always. Yeah.
I want to watch Picard, but I haven't yet. But.
I've started Picard just because I had a test. I tested for that one. That was the only test I've had in the year. Only test I had in the year, and the script was so fucking good. Like it was so cool, and it was so good, and I was just like, and usually I'm not like, who got this? I was like, who got it?
Who got it?
Who got it? I don't know who got it. They're not at the episode yet, but it was just like, it was like really good. I was like, started watching. I was like, this show's really good. Yeah,
I love
so
it.
They got like the most epic actors, just like doing like space, and it's like they're just epic, brilliant actors.
It's just I love that about the act. The acting has really never failed. For Star Wars, and just the story, the story of it, and I love, like Jason said, the commentary on now and the allegory for. Well, that's what it is.
I read somewhere that the black actor who played Worf from the whatever was like, he was funny. He was like,
Michael. We'll figure it out.
He's very tall.
He was like, fuck a Picard. He's like, I've been trying to get Worf.
He wants a Worf series.
And I was like, we all want a Worf series.
We all want a Worf series.
But they recur him in almost all the franchises. I like that actor because I like that he likes being Worf, because you get these actors. It's giving very like much Olivia Benson. Like I love when actors, because with Broadway people ask, how could you do? I remember I was talking to 2 stage actors who were transitioning in the film. They're just like, I just don't know. I just can't. I'm like, what are you talking about? You just can't. What are you talking about? Like you can't. It's just the same thing. I said, yeah, it's a fucking play. It's the same thing, but the character does evolve as you evolve. As long as you want to continue to do the work. If you don't want to do it anymore, then you leave the show. But I'm like, that's how people are on shows for so long. If they really enjoy the show and they enjoy the character, it gets there. You're constantly discovering new things.
But that's
that's acting, right?
I think that when you're doing TV though, when you're in a long running show, you're constantly, the work to discover new things is really, the onus is all up to you. Whereas I think with episodic, that discovering is a combination of like you melding with the character, people writing for you, different arcs, different shifts and things. You're not doing the same thing over and over again.
You're like saying the same words, or you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, if it is a different, I mean, I love it, but it is a different exercise to have to like say the same words or to sing the same song and let that sort of like grow. And I think also other things get in the way of that, right? Like the whole ambition of like, well, now it's time for me to move on. I can't do the show
really
for
think
more than
that conversation was about. It was about, don't you want to, I was like, actually, I'm totally comfortable doing this role. Like if you're asking me, am I ready to move on as an actor from my show? At the time, no. I was not ready to move on. I had a good time doing the work that I was doing. And I also am that type of act, like we're trained in the theater. So to me, whenever stage actors say that, I'm like, you literally went to college to do what I'm doing. Like,
but you know, part of that training is not about the longevity of staying connected to a character, because you know, until you get to Broadway, or
you don't do a long run, right?
True.
The max you're doing is a month long, too long.
That's
and
true.
In college, we do like what, a couple of weekends?
It's like
maybe 2 weeks. 2
and
weekends,
you're like,
maybe.
I'm here. Like I feel like I didn't really get Nabalungi until like yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like I still don't. It's just so much. Like there's certain moments and certain jokes that I'm like, I couldn't get, you know, that joke. And then I was like, oh, this is what that means. I've been doing the show for 50 billion, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's like, of course, I feel like when you are done, or like as El Morgan, like once you are evolved past or want to do something else, I think you should definitely leave. But I do enjoy when actors genuinely love the characters they're playing that follow them, because you're always taught like you don't want to get trapped in a character, like you don't want to be known as a character. But Worf is like, I'm totally fine. He's like, that's my nigga, like I created him. Like he's a part of me now. Like I love that. So anywho, sorry. What's next?
Love it.
I'm not gonna nerd out. I'm like, next.
More theater people booking things. Brandon Jacob Jenkins of theater fame, Pulitzer finalist, will also executive produce the project Kindred. So he will be adapting Octavia E. Butler's novel.
I'd like to see it.
Says Variety. Yep, there you go. Butler's novel, first published in 1979, is modeled as on slave narratives and concerns a young Black writer, Dana, who relocated to Los Angeles, but is pulled back and forth into the pre-Civil War Maryland plantation where she meets her ancestors. So this will be, he's working on this with FX, the MacArthur genius. Also was a consulting producer on Watchmen, and wrote Octoroon, Appropriate, and Neighbors. Yes. So,
I have a question.
Yeah, hit me.
So
we might have an answer.
How common is it for someone to be? I'm assuming that he's the showrunner for this.
I mean, it hasn't gone yet, so he may not be the showrunner. You can be the
just
creator.
adapting the script, right?
Okay,
yeah, so you can be the creator, developer, and you don't have to be the showrunner.
Okay, so it's not uncommon, or this is how big of it is a feat that he's attached to the project and he's also an executive producer.
That is usually what it is. If you are a writer on a show, if you're the creator, you're EP. That's just like status.
Okay,
yeah. So like the way that it kind of works in TV writing is that you'll start like staff level, producer level, you know, co-EP, then EP. So EP just kind of like speaks to how long how many gigs you've had in the writing world, and like gives you, and also it means more money. So so it's not uncommon. If you are like the creator of the pilot, you most likely have EP credit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very common. It's very common.
Really cool.
Yeah. If you're the creator of the show.
It's a nice match. I think that FX the premise of Kindred sounds like it really matches FX.
Yeah.
You know, and I like their programming. I tend to enjoy like the specificity of what FX brings to the table, kind of like a quirky, weird, but deep, you know, type of, you know, program. So I'm excited for it. I've always imagined that book as something like that, as a movie or something. I just am so interested to see how, you know, and the range of that actress. I feel like it's gonna be a really beautiful show.
Yeah, and like from what I heard, that this has been like a long time project of Brandon. So the fact that it's now attached to a network and stuff like that is like, I think it's gonna be pretty sick.
Well, you know, the first thing I thought of too with Brandon is that, like, you know, Brandon, in this conversation that we have about like a lot of Black people kind of being over like narratives that involve slavery or archetypes of slavery, Brandon has a well documented history of creating pieces that involve at the very least archetypes from slavery and kind of turning them on its head. So it's never, whenever I see Brandon attached to something that involves the time period or whatever, I know it's not going to feel like Roots, or it's not going to be some sort of trauma porn situation. It's going to be something a little bit to the side.
Interesting.
In terms of that world.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious to see, you know, I think that they've been talking, a bunch of different networks have been like attached to different Octavia Butler projects. So I'm just excited to see which one, because what I'm reminded of is I think this is all shade. What I'm reminded of is the attempt at Antebellum that felt like a sort of wannabe Kindred.
That movie with Janelle Monáe. That felt like a sort of like bad take on Kindred. That was like, this is so obviously like a take on, and like a not great take on Kindred, that like this is almost disrespectful. So I'm happy to I'm sorry. I was like, I saw the trailer. I was like, this is Kindred.
It's crazy,
but it's not. And so I'm excited to see someone who's like, no, we're just gonna actually do Kindred, actually, as opposed to like, what if we kind of, no, you don't need to remix Kindred. Kindred is dope.
It's dope by itself.
You know what I mean? Like, if you couldn't get the rights, you should have just done a different movie, a different movie, because this wasn't it. So I'm excited for like this one to actually, like, you know, because sometimes when things come out first, you're like, oh, well, does that mean that Kindred can't come out now? And it was like, no, we could look at this side, and you know, so yeah, excited for that. So moving on. Drama. Speaking of drama, or tragedy or whatever. So we have what is this? Former Hamilton cast member speaks of his experience.
I read that.
Yeah. So there's this article, if you want to look it up. It's called "Unraveling of a Dream: My Life in the Cast of Hamilton, an American Musical." And it's an actor who was an original cast member in the first national tour of Hamilton, aka known as the Angelica Company. Who basically kind of tells of his sort of traumatic experience on the tour, about not having anyone Black in the crew or anything like that, and how the majority of the people who were helping were white passing, and his just overall experience. What was his name?
Daniel Ben-Navis.
Thank you. And yeah, so if you want to take a look at that.
No.
Belnavis. Belnavis, Belnavis. Yeah, Daniel James Belnavis. And he wrote this. And is this Medium? No, what is it? It's on Medium.
I feel like it's Medium, but the link is also on Medium. Instagram situation.
So if you want to just take a look at it.
It was pretty well written.
It was very well written.
I was like very impressed, because I feel like I go to Medium and I'm used to just reading like did we proof it? But I enjoyed it was really well written, and all of his thoughts were there, and you could clearly see his perspective, how things were taken, and how things were, you know, like you could see that he thought this before he sat down to write. He organized this so that it was a cohesive piece, so that you can't really pick it apart, you know, to fit your own agenda. And I really liked that. Okay, girl.
Yeah, no, I read it. I'm actually quite proud of him in terms of him talking. I think that he did a good job about also constantly reminding us about where his mental state was at going into the contract, during the contract, after the contract. I think that like it's a great example of how two things can exist in the same world. How you can thought of being a part of it, right? And
Yeah.
And so after reading it, all that I came away with was because I mean, for me, at the end of the day, it is an article that is a cautionary tale about constantly being, which is hard to do, constantly being in check with your dreams and the weight that we put that we take from our dreams and put on specific contracts.
Absolutely.
I think that he's not the first person to talk about their issues at Hamilton. And then on top of that, he's not the first person to talk about their issues on a machine billion-dollar making show. So I didn't walk away thinking that was specific to just Hamilton.
Right.
That's specific to major corporate theater to begin with. I also do feel like it is. I definitely sent this article to a bunch of the young folk that I've been working with at my alma mater to be like, hey, this is not about crushing your dreams about being on a big Broadway show or Hamilton or whatever. It's about, I want you to read this so when you do book that contract, you have the tools or the experience of somebody else to walk in and be like, yeah. This is a great shiny thing that can be extra shiny and special, but like we've always been told, all that glitters isn't gold. So if you've been told the tea about something before, all you can do is go in and be like, yes, this can be magic. But like any other theater gig, it is a theater gig, and there's always something behind that curtain. So, to build your resistance up, I think it's a good piece of writing to help the younger folk continue to decide what they can handle and what they can't before they get into a situation. Because at the end of the day, as much as we love theater, being traumatized by one singular contract is never worth it.
I have a question.
Right.
And is there always some kind of, and Darius is in the building, he's just behind the scenes, but he's done a lot of shows. So my question is there always a kind of, like a throwaway kind of track in every show? It doesn't exist.
In my experience, that's what being a standby or a swing is. It is not a throwaway track.
No, I'm not saying throwaway. That's not what I mean, but the way that it was depicted in the Man 5 or Man 6 or whatever.
I will say that, like, I feel like there are multiple people who could give you an example of that kind of track in every show. I also think it's about this, and this is where I'm trying to be very careful with my words, because I don't want it to come as a criticism or coming down on the author of the piece or the multiple men that I personally know more than I know him, who've been in the same track, who've had the same experience, right? But what I will say is that, like, it also speaks to knowing yourself. I have never wanted to be a swing track. I don't have the mindset for it. I don't have the width. I don't know how to do that. I also know that after a month and a half, I'd have put me in the game coach syndrome. And if you have that and you're prone to that, being a swing or being a standby is not the gig for you.
But I guess my thing is like, so, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said throwaway track. That's not what I meant. But from reading the piece, that is kind of like how those two tracks in Hamilton have been described by one. I did like Charnette, who was, I think it's Woman 6 or is it Woman 5? I know it's a 5 and a 6.
It's Woman 5 and
Woman
Man
5
6
and Man 6. That is how those tracks were described in that way. And I for me, you know, I've only done the one show, but we have an on-stage swing at the Book of Mormon who literally only comes on for Hasadiga. Then they're the monster.
Yes.
So in Man Up, there's a monster that Cunningham kills, and then they come out for the very end for the African Goodbye or African.
And that
Hello.
started later.
And that was not a part of the original. And that track has a purpose, but it's just not a it's not it's not a glamorous track. It has a distinct purpose, and that track only understudies all of the ensemble women and me. So only one principal track, whereas in Hamilton, man and woman 5 and 6 and 5 understudy all of the principal, like not all of the principal men, but like 3 principal men, and which I mean, again, I'm not a swing either, and I'm not discounting the experience, but the crazy thing to me about it, it is thankless.
There you go. Thankless,
I don't understand the standing in the wing type deal. I don't understand that aspect, but Darius, is that, you can just shake your head yes or no. Do you know of tracks like that in a lot of shows that you've been in where the shows are, it's just like the track is small? Yes. So
but I also feel like it depends.
Yes, on the you better come in, our special guest, Darius Barnes.
It's also a mindset thing, though. It's all like me. This is not a criticism. It's also I know plenty of people who kind of like, no, I love, you know, but if you are someone, again, I'm trying to be so careful with my words. At the end of the day, if you do not have the experience of being in a major show like that, or swinging, or doing anything like that before, if you've never been told, yo, this is about to be not glamorous at all and thankless as fuck, it can fuck with you. Because at the end of the day, your job is to be a cog in the wheel. So you are never going to get, and also money-wise, if you're good in a swing,
they're going to keep you as a swing.
They're going to keep you as a swing.
I think that's a lot of people don't realize that as well. They're like, oh, I'll do this until I can get bumped up.
Exactly.
A lot of first-timers, a lot of kids right out of school are like, oh, word, I booked this new show. I'm going to be a swing. But, you know, that means I'm covering this and this. And also with swing, with what they're usually, when I first started, it was like swing only does ensemble. These kids can do everything now. So now it's like swing and we'll make you cover this principle and this principle. So they're like, oh, that's definitely my gig and it's like, no, you know 5 tracks. Why would I move you? You know 5 tracks and you're good. You're fresh. You're not like jaded at all. You've studied all your tracks. You're on every time you go on. I'm not going to move you.
And also,
I disagree with this budget effective. I mean, but you have multiple. It's not like these are the only covers in the.
But here's
you know what I mean.
You have to remember. Here's the thing: a woman 5 and man 6 in Hamilton aren't the only swings that cover principles.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Someone that also cover principles that cover more tracks than them.
And somebody has to cover woman 5, or somebody has to cover.
You know what I mean? They're the first covers, and then that's how you plug in. Like man 5 is on, so who goes into man 5, and then who goes into, it's like it goes down. But they're not thankless, but there's always that track who knows that they cover lead 1, and there's always that track who knows they cover lead 2. So they're always like.
I think they're thankless in the sense that, like, one, it's based off of how you go into it or what your expectation is after you've done your job, and also too, he was constantly overlooked for.
I mean, but that's what happens in my experience with ensemble and swings that want to move up. Not all the time. It is rare though that an ensemble member. I've only in the Book of Mormon. How long has it been running? Along at almost 10 years. I've only seen it happen. Heard of it happening 3 times. 3 times in all of its history, and 2 of the people who moved up were in the original cast. So they were in the original cast, and one was Asmaret, and she got to do Nabalungi a little bit on Broadway and in the West End, but it wasn't her permanent spot.
Right.
She filled in. You know, it wasn't her permanent track. And then Brian Sears
showing interest to want to move up. That everyone's going to do that. That's no guarantee, just because that's just not how things.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen as. It'll happen with a standby. It seems. Mm-hmm. I've seen Oh, and I do know an ensemble guy, Kevin Clay. He moved in from but he's one of them kids. He started in the ensemble, and he understudied Price. And I think what happened was someone I don't think he auditioned to be Price per se, but I think a creative was in the audience while he was Price. Now, mind you, there are standby Prices. He didn't get moved up to principal. He got moved up to standby.
Standby, right.
And then he got moved up to principal. You know?
I mean, here's the thing. It's kind of like, it's the way things work. Let's just take, at this stage in the game now, it's very rare for someone to go into Broadway playing a principal and never having covered. It is actually quite rare. There are people who are kind of like, well, I don't want to cover. Well, then you will never be a principal, because these producers are not going to risk putting you in a musical if they've never seen you do it. Covering and understudying is part of the game and part of the dues of paying your shit, right? So even on that level, not getting promoted is not fully indicative to me of toxicity. There are other examples. I'm also kind of responding to the comment that just got posted.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, he did express interest, but every industry.
It doesn't mean he was entitled to it.
No, just because no. That's just not the way things work.
Yeah.
I feel for him. I feel like also with Hamilton, with the show being what it is and its public, you know, how it occupies its space, it does seem a bit more disheartening, especially when you feel like a show is for you and it's telling a story that has you in mind. It feels like it might take more care of you, but as like, you know, again, it's a machine
and it's a corporation.
It's a corporation and it's going to make its money, period. And that's kind of what it's about. It's about maintaining. It's like putting the oil and dusting off the cup to make sure that the shit still runs so they can still make their money, make more companies, make more merch. Like how much more can we do to milk this cow? You know? I don't know. I mean, it seems like that to me. I kind of had an idea in my mind. Now, I've never originated before, and I've only replaced. And so to me, when I replaced, I had a pretty clear idea of what that was going to be like, you know? And I feel like, again, with like swings, and sometimes I feel like they don't always understand what the gig is
until also understanding too, we're at a place now with, you know, with all these reckonings and things that's what's happening. You know, the thing is, like, I'll say this, I do have a similar experience to Daniel in the sense that, like, I was part of a very huge show, The Lion King, that Lion King would be nowhere without Black people, Black culture, Black whatever. And to this day, it's very hard. We're kind of like, oh, this is a show for me. They have yet to have a Black Scar full time. They have yet to have a Black Pumbaa, Timon. There are certain tracks that like, you will never get that. So I think this is a cautionary tale also too. Just because something looks Black
doesn't mean it is.
Doesn't mean that they were going to be here for you, young children.
It's just tough. I feel really bad for both of those, you know, the people. I'm glad that they got out for their mental health, because shows, especially when you are in a machine and you feel like you have to keep it, you know, because it's a machine show and you can pay off your student loans with the show. You can save your kids' college with the show. It is a government job.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. It's like it's a government job, you know, like I'm not surprised to hear these stories, even though I do feel for them. And I think that it's so important that they're out there, because this kind of shit happens, I think, in every single fucking show. Yeah. But a lot of times either people it doesn't weigh on them as much because maybe they've done 5 shows and they're like, yeah, girl, I'm just here to collect this check. But, when you're not there to just collect the check, when you're really invested in the show, in the company, in the work that you're doing, it seems like it can just be a really hard pill to swallow. And it's just unfortunate that you have to leave your fucking government job off some fuck shit like colorism and,
but if you
mental
have to
health.
but if you have to leave your government job, then you should leave your government job. This is why I say I love
amen.
the articles. I love the art. Yes, I love the articles so much because it's information for people to know that, like, don't let your love of theater or your craft get you got and get you fucked up. It is okay to be like, I'm the combination of the environment and who I am at this point in time is not working. It's not a failure. It's better for everyone involved. It's better for your artistry. It's better for your craft. And because as artists, the show must go on. That's what we're raised at, raised in and trained in. We get a lot of people who put so much weight into what we're doing currently at that moment. We're not thinking about the future. We're going on doing shows when we have busted ass ankles, vertebrae all out of tact, just whatever. And not thinking about like, well, can I do another show after this 8-show week?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, all that article did was just be like, hey, y'all, 2 things can exist. You can love your job, but also you yourself are the most important. The show is actually not even as good if you're not 100%.
Amen.
So you got to find a way to advocate for yourself, whether that means you're not done with your paying off your loans, whether that means you still got bills to pay. He even said he regrets leaving when he did because he didn't have a job or he didn't have enough money saved up. But money saved up in a job versus you jumping off the G jump.
Yeah, he can get another job.
You can get another job.
But it just breaks my heart that, like there's certain things that were in there that were just kind of like super tone deaf from management. Like, what's going on with him and you put him on, and then when you know what I'm saying? And then he asks to not do it and you kind of force him anyway. I could see if you because not everything, but the shows are supposed to work in a rotation. So if it's his rotation, I could understand, but I do know that there is some stage management out there to say, hey, checking on you. Are you cool to do this? And when he said he wasn't cool with it and they pursued it, that just really seemed because shows will try and make you quit. Shows will do
corporations. It worked very much as from what I saw, it worked very much as like a corporate monster, right? And so like it's just that thing where it's like, and as someone who's more in the off-Broadway space, and not to say that off-Broadway is better or what have you, but we don't have who has not worked on a monster per se, but there is something just really interesting about like as a creator trying to think holistically about making sure that space is good where all the artists constantly feel taken care of. And should I ever create a knock on wood monster, like what are the things that I can like can the writer put that but the producer can, right? So if I'm on the producing team, the producer can do that. They can put in place they can have a sort of culture, right? Like I'm wondering, like it's also like the culture of the whole thing. Like there are plenty of actors who are on teams who are like, I actually feel really taken care of being in this particular machine.
But I think it depends on your experience with the team. Like if the team, not the team, the people in the building. So that incident happened with stage management. So stage management is going to sometimes talk to the producers or the directors on, especially if someone's new or coming back, like, are we comfortable putting this person on? Or producers will make it clear that they saw this person, they never want them fucking on again, and they'll skip them in rotation time and time again, which then affects the money. And then they have a conversation with the actor, and everyone acts like everything's fine. But in reality, the producer saw it or the director saw it and said, don't ever have that person again. But they can't take that track away from you because it's in your contract, whatever. So it's like the producer or whoever, yes, they can do that. But I think that it's like, a lot of times stage management has a lot more power than we think. If stage management does not like you, they will express this, because a lot of them also been there since the beginning. They will express this to the creative team. and they're all friends. And so the stage manager might in turn treat you like shit to try and get you out of their building, or to get you to another company because you're annoying or you're problematic or you complain or whatever. So it's like when we're dealing with these, to me, that's why I say like the producer can do whatever the producer fucking wants to do. But at the end of the day, the people who are doing the show 8 times a week, that's the group of people that really you really need to have your back. Fuck the producer. Fuck Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's about that team that has the power, that company manager that's on the road with them.
Yeah.
That stage management team. And if they don't like you, then you're fucked. Because what's your word is really nothing against their word. I mean, and I had not experienced this, but to me, that's the right. Especially on tour, like.
And it's rougher on tour because
it's rougher on tour.
You can't. The separation is so hard. You're in such a bubble.
Yeah,
people are your family, so you feel it from all sides. Like you feel it at work, and then you're at home. You might see them in the hotel lobby. It's like way more intense.
It's also such a great thing that like another thing that I got from it, because I will say the receipts for commonality and experience with men and women in that track has been very well documented. So I do not think this is just some sort of person just in their feelings. Right. Absolutely not. But it also, one of the things that I learned from it is that like, you know, we talk about, you know, feeling taken care of. Feeling taken care of is a two-way street. That is not just the company management or the team making you feel. It's also ensuring that when you are not being taken care of, you say, yo, this is what I'm not being taken care of. How can we help that? You're blessed if you have employers that will hear you. If you don't have employers that are listening or that don't give a fuck, it is now up to you to realize or to have a boundary, be like, well, you know what, y'all don't give a fuck. I guess this is signaling time for me to go. It's harder for some people to do that. I understand that, but it is a being taken care of is a it's a collaboration.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this with my eye. I'm saying this now with my perspective of if we are trying to get to better working environments, we have to be able to risk being like, this is not worth my heart and my head. I'm going to bounce because you guys are not going to do that for me, and then trust that some other net will appear.
That's real.
That is mature AF, Jason.
Well,
and it's hard to get there, you know. That takes years of experience, and also in not actually just years, but like wanting to enlighten yourself, right? Because there's something that happens when you're in this business constantly, and you know, we know a lot of old timers who are a little fucked up and a little bitter, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is rightly so, right? So we know a lot of the people who have been fucked by the game, and like there's that little crazy look in their eye, and it's like, oh shit, like, and the business did this to them, you know what I mean? But and so it's really important that, like, you know, that you are entering this with some caution, quite frankly. Every time I visit a school and do guest teaching, I go, while you guys are under 26 and insured, get a therapist.
Great advice.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, because again, all that glitters is not gold. You might actually even get the thing that you want. You might get the job that you want, and you're going to be, and you still don't know why you're not happy and why it's all fucked. Right. So like, so it's not even, you know, it's really just about like, you're still growing as a human. There's like a beautiful, great lie that we were all told, right? We were get on stage and then we'll be happy. And then, and we're all learning, oh shit, there's more. I need more. There's something else. Right?
So it was a combination. Like, I mean, maturity now. I mean, like, that just came to me like 32 pounds, you know, but it's a combination. Also, I was lucky enough to have the skill set where I always, whether I take the advice or not, I always really consider what elders say to me or people who've experienced something. So I was lucky enough when I was a part of the Lion King to have a number of people be like, here are your choices. Do this or this. This is not worth it. This could be worth it. That's up to you. And also, all it also takes is one bad experience on a show of that
caliber.
caliber to be like, oh, y'all
And
really
reach.
don't give a damn about me. Okay, cute. The money
They
is great.
don't.
I'm still gonna bounce. You know, so that combination, I didn't wake up and be like, I have the answers. You know, but I definitely thank God I had people to be like, yo, when you get on this gig, of course be grateful, but also like,
Yeah.
this can also happen, and you have to decide what's important to you at that point in time. And to me, I love theater. I love theater so much and always have been, but not enough to where I will never let a gig taint how I feel about the craft and the world of theater moving forward. I never want to be in a place to where one show makes it so where I don't want to be a part of theater ever again.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
He'll be damned. Well, we're gonna move on. I hope we got some enlightenment during that period. But this is also just a reminder. Listener letters. Do you want to turn them in? Do you want to do your jobs? We're just wondering.
They might be there, but I don't have access.
But we don't have any access to emails. Oh, sorry.
We don't.
Well, you know. Bye, Darius. Thank you for coming in and guesting with us. But if you want to put in some questions in the chat, we'll also take those if you're watching. So, you know, if you have some questions for us, we'll always take them. But we're moving on to some more hot tops. Speaking still on the Hamilton train to more positive things. Renee Elise Goldsberry and Javier Munez reunite for Eureka. Hamilton original cast members Renee Elise Goldsberry and Javier Munez have joined the cast of Eureka, an upcoming Disney Junior animated series. The show will follow a young inventor living in prehistoric times and is set to debut later this year. So that is more on our
That's great.
You know, so I
especially love when the women of Hamilton are thriving, particularly when
when I just got sent an Architectural Digest article.
Of David and Emma.
Emmy. Well, I know. Did y'all see the YouTube clip though? Did y'all see the YouTube clip?
I didn't watch the tip. The clip. I just didn't watch the tip. I didn't watch the clip, but I saw and you know that boho is that's my jam, everything. All I responded with, I was like, the home is beautiful.
Yeah, they were giving you colors.
They were giving me life. I was like, I didn't even know that y'all like this was y'all's. I don't even know what I thought their aesthetic was. I don't know what I thought.
Yeah, they were giving you light skin luxury. They are
that
light skin biracial luxury.
I said
luxury. Yes.
I said where is
yes?
Where is
curls on curls?
We're both series regulars.
We're series regulars. Our curls are thriving. Emmy's like, I'm on a cult classic, The Umbrella Academy. David's like, I'm on everything.
David is on
everything.
Coming in from every network.
Production contract. We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
We met on Hamilton, living in shoeboxes. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. Like, that's all I need.
We'll start it from basically the top, and now we're here.
I mean, started from the top, and now we're here.
And now we've ascended. We're actually in heaven now. This is what heaven looks like. It's light skin. It has many colors. I won't be there apparently, but you know, you two might make it. You two might make it.
Listen, I think I have too much shit to say.
There is hope.
I can't. Me and Jason are on the cancel train. We're always just like, as soon as we get any type of prominence, I feel like we're just gonna be like, we're gonna say something, and they're gonna be like, they're canceled, and we're just gonna be like, okay, well, I guess it's back to the start.
The difference is that Kim will double down. I will not, and I'll still get canceled. But Kim will double down and be like, I said what I said. I'm fuck you rich now, so I don't care.
I said what I said. I will say I said what I said, and if I feel like, you know, I will admit when I'm wrong, but I will also pull up Piers Morgan and be like, I've had some time to sleep on it, and I still feel the same. If I actually still feel the same. If I feel different, I feel different. But I feel like if I got money, I probably would stop talking in general.
Well,
I mean, why would I need to speak anymore?
Well, I mean, if I was to get rich, yeah, I actually would stop. I actually might stop talking.
I think I
might be like,
well, everything.
So I feel here's the thing that I don't understand about people who hopefully we will all get there, right? When we have so much money to where we don't have to really worry about anyone's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I feel like being rich should make you mind your business even more.
That's what I feel.
I would be too busy
No,
spending.
but in the beginning though, I will let everyone know that I am rich. I'd be like, hi guys, I'm logging in my Instagram for the last time. I wanted everyone to know that I am rich now and I don't need to participate in any way, shape, or form in society except for it with my bank account. That is where my participation.
I think that was the case that you could do that 15 years ago, but I think that currency, like clout, is a new currency, right? So like money, it's not necessarily about money. It's about like money is now like attention is money. You know what I mean? And so like that's why it's like why can't these people just be happy and rich and be over there? Half of them are probably not as rich as we think they are.
Well, there's that.
So that's really most of it, right? They're actually not as rich as we think they are. They're probably not even rich. They have money.
For the record, when it comes to me, I am always as rich as you think I am. I am just, and when you see my home architectural digest,
sure.
Just know that
sure.
That's the move. That's what you see.
You should know that I will be rich because I will not let anyone in my home. Once, like Ngozi, we haven't seen Ngozi in more like rent like loft. It'll be like a metal like industrial loft, like with some like wood.
We're similar to that. Give me a loft. Give me a loft. But it's like, has anyone been to her loft? And the answer will be no. And then you'll know I've attended. Who let you pass the gate?
Right. It'll be like a secret salon, or you'll know you've been there, but I won't it's going to be like a blindfold sleep no more situation where you don't know how to so you can't pull up on me. But it's like, no, all are invited, but you don't know the way. Everyone can.
Nothing's winding so like a maze. Like I thought that no. Oh, okay.
I feel as though I'll become more paranoid and strange if I become rich, and so that's part of my mystique. Yeah, I become a recluse. Like I want to see people, but it's like niggas can't know where I'm at. So that's what I'm hoping for. You're like as open as I am. That's how I still don't have any money because it's. Like,
I want to just see on other people's Instagrams. Like I'm rich. Like oh my god. I'm at a party and the only reason why I'm at the party is because either Vogue or Page Six reported it or somebody took a picture of my outfit or you see like the back of me in someone's Instagram story. Like that's nice.
And I'll do random things to be like, I'm going to take the train every Tuesday and Thursday so people think that I don't have a driver. Just make sure that I'm like relatable, approachable. So that way people also don't know that I'm into this money because I'm still on the train.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm glad we've all figured it.
We've all figured it out.
All right. I'm glad we've all figured out our rich futures. May it come upon us. Speaking of richness, the Grammys are happening as we speak. That's today's the Grammys.
Yeah, there've been some updates.
So we're giving a shout out to Michael Kilgore, who is a solo artist who is nominated, who's a full. He's a couple throats. I feel like he's not a throat. He's like
deep throat.
He's a choir.
He's deep throat. I never get tired of the vocal. It is just.
There was one time where he was on social media and he referred. This was, I'm gonna say maybe 3 years ago. He referred to himself as a world-class singer, right? And I was being like. Yes. You might not be worldwide known, but
yes,
you are.
I can't debate that.
You are.
The fact that at one point, I remember having a conversation with him at one point, and he was like, I don't know. I feel like I want to cut an album. Like I'm trying to decide. Like the fact that a decision was made, like a decision had to be, because he was very passionate about doing the theaters.
Yes.
Doing this was his world. And the fact that he was like, making I'm like, this is the best choice you've ever made in your entire life. But it just seems like, I mean, when you listen to him open his mouth, it's just destiny fulfilled. There's just some people who just have, that type of talent.
When was the first time you came across his voice?
Ooh, I know exactly where I was when I first heard him. I was in a rehearsal for a production of Queen Lear that I was only in a rehearsal for 2 days.
Yes, Queen Lear. Yes.
Queen Lear, starring Billy Porter, mother of the house.
Love it.
Ed Iskandar, ex-bishop right there. And Michael was in it. And I was being like, who? I remember saying out loud, I'd be like, who is that? And some Negro who else was in the ensemble was kind of just like, the person that's about to take over Billy Porter's entire whole career in track. Someone said that to my ear. Like, oh, like
a whisper, a quick whisper.
And then I was like, oh, okay. And then the next thing I know, he was in Hair. And then maybe a next flash, I was seeing one of his first concerts at the Iridium underneath Evelyn Stardust Diner. So I was like, wow, this child is coming for us all.
Darius, what about you? Darius came back on to be like, oh, I have to talk about my friends.
I adore him. I think I am a huge fan. I think he's major, one of the best voices of our generation on Broadway, and now the world. We auditioned for Memphis in the same audition. It was this random audition of dancers and singers all together and a whole bunch of people in this call. That's the first time we met. The first time I heard of him, he did a concert at the Triad, I guess when he first got to the city, that I was not in attendance of, but it was the talk of the town and it was on YouTube. And somebody played me his cover of Had to Hear Your Voice. Is that
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this? What throat is this? Is this a guy? Is this a female? Who can do all of these things? I was, and this is when YouTube first was popping. You remember back in the day when there was Twitter wasn't a thing, it was all you did was go to YouTube and watch singing videos. And I was obsessed. I think I watched that thing about 20 times the first time. I was just like,
he's amazing.
Amazing. So incredibly gifted. Sorry.
For me, it was beautiful. I love that you had to come on for it. But Darius is like, I gotta come. I love that. Yeah, for me, it was recent. I remember when they had someone had posted something on Facebook, and it was Leland and Jason Michael Webb's show, The First Noel. And they had was it Emmanuel, whatever the song was. They just had a song, and it was him and this woman who was in Once on This Island. I can't remember. The light school woman was in Once on This Island. I think she was a cover. The Revival. I want to say she was a cover. I think so. Yes. And they were singing the finale song, and you just heard that yes. And I was just like, what? I was like, why am I crying from 36 bars? I was just and I was like, I'm seeing that show. Whatever. I don't know what the show is about. I don't know, but I want to I am okay if nothing good happens in the show, and the show happened to be really wonderful. But I was like, if nothing good happens in that show, but that happens, I'm happy. I bought a ticket the next day, and then I got to see him in the Songs for a New World, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm late. I'm so late. You know what I mean? So.
Sings.
Cassandra.
Yes, come on, thank you. Yes, Racine. Thank you for giving us names.
Hey, Chandra. I feel like I was kind of late. I feel like someone had shown me a video of him, and I was like, who the fuck is this? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for nothing. And then I came across him again doing Postmodern Jukebox's he did a Whitney Houston cover for Postmodern Jukebox.
Oh, you were extra late, Kim.
I was extra late. Well, I saw that video before, but I don't know, what it was. But I was just like, who is this? And I was like, oh my God, this is the guy from that video. And this is his name, Michael Kilgore. And I was obsessed with The Voice. And I listened to that, that, first of all, Postmodern Jukebox, before the whole, everyone shut them and canceled them. I lived for some of their remakes of classics or whatever. But anyway, that was the first time. And then when I got to work with The Voice, now that was the gag. The gag. Can you give me just one? Can you give me 1 second? Okay. The gag was Eddie. Can you just 1 second? Was when I did this little show called Freedom Riders. I knew that he was going to be in the cast, and I knew his voice. but a lot of people in the cast had never heard of Michael, didn't know the vocal, knew nothing about it. So he comes to rehearsal. He gets there late, not the day. It's like we started like a day before, 2 days before. He was on a gig. He came and joined us later. And so we're running something. He opens his, in the video, actually, that clip kind of goes viral every so often.
Yes.
And it's from that moment. But actually, before that video was taken, the actual moment of them hearing him for the first time, no one moved except for me, because I've heard his voice before. But no one did their blocking because everyone was just like, they were just sitting there, and then they said, and it literally, like, they were like gagged. And I've never seen actors gag like that in a rehearsal to the point where they did not do their own work because they were in such awe of his work. They had no idea. And that was just like, and also during that show, he was like he was the lead in the show. He was a fierce leader. He always gathered us all together, like for game nights at his house, and was really about like forming community and that type of thing. Also, we saw him, he advocated for us, he advocated for himself. So with that experience with working with Michael, and it was just a very like, because he could have just been like a diva, but he wasn't. It was a really great experience.
World class.
World class.
So this is our love to you, Michael Kilgore. World class, no matter what the Grammys say. We just wanted to give you your flowers. Let them know what it is. If you're not on the train, get on the train.
And it is, I will say it is crazy that in this day, again, I'm going to keep it, but in this day of reckoning with fucking all these theater institutions, they talk about uplifting Black theater artists, that was not a, Jesse Nager said it today on Facebook, that it's not a major story that Michael was nominated for a Grammy. It should have been everywhere.
Through submitting himself.
It's not on Playbill?
No.
They did it once when they named all Grammys, but like they should still be pumping that up. Until the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
What?
And submitted himself, right?
Man, I mean, just incredible. I mean, but he even like one of the first I went to, he did a concert at like the W, the living room at the W, I think is what it used to be called. Who knows? Is that thing still even there? But he had a concert there, and I just remember the When Is This Good, or what's When This, I don't know. I've been to a couple of Michael's concerts since, but When Is This Good, I was like, nigga, you wrote that. I was still into like the $2 Trader Joe's wine. I thought that I was obsessed with that fucking line. I was like, that's a bar right there. I like the casual effectiveness of a lyric. He also does this fierce cover of a Reba McEntire song.
Yes.
I don't know. The man is just everything. It's just, the talent is just world class.
All right. I love that. So that's the end of our hot topics. We ended on the hottest topic of all, Michael Kilgore. If you're not into him, get into him. What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing with yourself? You ain't got nothing to do. We're in a pandemic still. Listen to him.
Do your job. Do your job.
Yes. Jason, are you gonna do a little something for us today?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness. So it's time for, I'm gonna try it. I said what I said.
That was good.
Thank you. It was like full throat. Thank you.
It was giving me leaks.
Thank you.
Is that a compliment?
Yes, because she's the originator.
That's true.
I'll take it. I'm an actor.
Okay.
Hit us. If we can just mute ourselves, if we're not in the, doing our thing, and let Jason do his thing.
I guess I'll do my thing. Yeah, well, I wish to God I was in an arsenal. I'm sorry, Meridian. Mother Henry, I don't mean that for you. I don't understand you. I don't understand Meridian here. It was his son. It was your grandson, Mother Henry, that got killed. Butchered. Just last week. And yet, here you sit in this house of this damn almighty God who don't care what happens to nobody unless, of course, they're white. Mother Henry, I got a lot of respect for you and all that from Meridian too, but that white man's God is white. It's that damn white God that's been lynching us and burning us and castrating us and raping our women and robbing us of everything that makes a man for all these 100 years. Now, why are we sitting around here in his house? If I could get my hands on him, I'd pull him out of heaven and drag him through the town at the end of a rope. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I don't want to be better than they are. Why should I be better than they are? Better than what? Better than being a doormat? Better being a corpse? Sometimes I just don't know. We've been demonstrating nonviolence for more than a year now. And all that's happened now is that they'll let us into that crummy library downtown, which was obsolete in 1897, and where nobody goes anyway. Who in this town reads books? For that, we paid, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in fines. Jerome is still in the hospital. We're picketing that great movie palace downtown where I wouldn't go on a bet. I can live without your Brenna and Doris Day. Thank you very much. And we still can't get licensed to be electricians or plumbers. We still can't walk through the park. Our kids still can't use the swimming pool in town. Still can't vote. Can't even get registered. Is it worth it? Then these people trying to kill us too. And we even got no guns. Cops ain't going to protect us. They call up people and tell them where we are and say, go get them. They ain't going to do nothing to you. They just dumb niggas.
Hey, I love that play.
You know that play.
I do know that play. I love that play.
I don't know it. What is it?
It's James Baldwin's Blues for Mr. Charlie.
Yes.
Oh. I know that play, but I don't know that play.
That is the only James Baldwin play I know. I actually read it the other day because I was on I was realizing how deficient I am on James Baldwin, actually. And someone was trying to get me into Amen Corner.
Amen Corner it's not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. And I love James Baldwin's literary.
Me too.
Yes.
I don't, but I'm just not familiar with the plays. And someone was like, you need to get on those play tip. And I don't love it, but like some of the monologues in Blues for Mr. Charlie is really like, you could just feel the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I happen to be, so I'm very familiar with that particular play. Amen Corner, I'm not in love with, but I have a friend who's directing it who like, they're trying to break into New York. And like, she had a really amazing production of it in DC that I'm like, like,
I agree
just
with
like,
you about it.
You know, yeah.
I agree. It's funny. Like I'm very familiar with the work of James Baldwin, but his playwriting, I'm kind of like, okay, right. Mm-hmm. I feel that way about Amen Corner. There's also sections of Blues for Mr. Charlie that I'm kind of like, wow, there's a whole act that is just about these white people in the second act. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, cool. But like, yeah, I understand why people don't know his plays.
Yeah, because Maya Angelou also is a playwright. You know what I mean? Like the sort of like our literary titans that also happen to be playwrights. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting to like look back on their plays and like see their poetry and their essays and be like, damn, they could write. Yeah. And the plays don't necessarily totally translate for me.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that's real. I remember we read. I will say this about my white ass theater program. They had us reading some goddamn plays. Okay, like so we did read the Amen Corner. I think we might have even read Blues for Mr. Charlie. I don't remember, but we read. I mean, so many like playwrights of color, past and present, which I do appreciate that about BCU's program. And when they taught history of theater, they also incorporated that within the weaving of our education, which I am learning is very deficient in a lot of other programs. Not to say that my program was like black. No, it was not. It was it lacked in other where it gained, it lacked. But but yeah, I remember I was like, I don't know why I don't like this play, but I like James Baldwin, but why don't I like this play? So maybe I should read it again as an older person who has more understanding of the world.
I think maybe, but I think there are just plays who do what that particular play does better. Yes. You know, like I think like Blues for Alabama Sky does that thing better. I think Pearl Clige has a softer touch and does that. Yeah, like I think Pearl Clige. Yeah, I think Pearl Clige like has that does that kind of takes that and does it as a playwright a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like there's like a softer touch and a wider touch and a better literary kind of like scope that talks about those things just in a way that is a little, at least for me, for my taste, is a little bit more I
agree for sure. It's funny because I read that play a number of times before, and it wasn't until right at the top of the pandemic, my friend Tommy, who I believe is watching right now, gave me that monologue. I was just like, there's a monologue? There's a motherfucker named Lorenzo? What? He says what? I was just like, maybe I did clip notes. I don't remember at all. You know, so anyway.
Yeah. So playwriting, James Baldwin, Black people. That's what we did it. This is like your last chance because we did it. We did off book. So if you have any questions right now, this would be the time to kind of hit us with it on the chat. I loved the last time when we did thoughts, questions, parting answers, profound statements.
Go
while
off
we're
comments.
waiting for questions.
There's 26 of y'all watching.
So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If not, we will give our parting statements, our profound thoughts of the week. Jason, as someone who is leaving us,
and an honor to be here for these 3 weeks. I'm so incredibly proud of you too. I just think that y'all are the bee's knees. Do I have any questions? Sure. Where's your show being produced at? Tell me right now. 1, 2, 3, go.
I'll tell you in the after show.
Okay. And then
for those of you who don't know, we do an after show that no one gets to see. That's just us.
Drew's always kind of like, why didn't y'all do that? Kind of like I'm like,
because we won't have jobs. We won't have jobs. Yeah, we won't have jobs. And I'm a Libra. Yeah, I always show my Leo rising on the after show. Go ahead.
And then I guess, I don't know, y'all keep watching Off Book Podcast, keep questioning yourselves and figuring out what your boundaries are and how you're willing to contribute to the reckoning. Because at the end of the day, you got to start with yourself. That's almost it.
You got to start with yourself. Can't make nobody do nothing that they don't want to do. And if you ain't doing it especially. Let me think. Thoughts, parting statements. It is a year since the quarantine, the Pantene Pro V, the Panda Express. So, it looks like we're about to go out there into the world with each other. And so I just want you all to be taking care of each other because some of y'all didn't make it. And I mean that literally. And I also mean that mentally.
Yeah.
So take care of yourselves. It is probably going to be just as difficult to reemerge as it has been to stay in, right? So what does it mean to reemerge for you, to go back out into the world, to go back out into the hustle? It's not easy. So like check in with yourself, check in with your heart, check in with other people, and do what you can to stay intact. And I mean that physically and emotionally, because, a year ago today, a lot of artists were alive that are not. So that's also a very deep and sobering thought.
Oh, no.
I have people that I know that did not make it, and so, we're blessed. We're blessed. So that's the other thing. We're blessed to make it out here in this world, and let's do better, whatever that means. Kim, thoughts, parting statements, questions, profound inquiries.
Parting statements. What I have found this week is that a lot of people want the Book of Mormon to close. What is wrong with you people? It's a satire.
It is racist. It's racist, though.
Leave us alone.
You said it was when it's racist. That's not the point.
Listen, leave us alone. Leave us alone. Stop picking on us. Y'all, look, it's like the kids in the playground, like, get them. Like, that's what Hamilton, we just had a whole expose. Ain't nobody over here like, well, Hamilton, ain't nobody saying that.
But
Ain't nobody saying that.
They are, though. They actually are.
There was something to be said.
Sally, would you be a deer?
There was something to be said about people coming for Book of Mormon and not coming for him, but there was something to be said.
That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna come for us, you come for everybody.
What is to be said about that?
People are comfortable with certain things and uncomfortable with other things, and it's not really about. It's just I don't know. It's just you know what I'm saying. It's it's relative per person, and speaking for the collective, you can't really do that. But yeah, I'm like, if y'all are gonna come for us. Then I mean, remember, Wicked posted that green hand with that white hand, like we are Black Lives Matter or something.
I mean, you could come for line. You could come for line.
Remember all those stories about the Shinsies for Lion King? You could come for Lion King. Remember that?
So our parting thoughts are close all these niggas. Close them all. Let there be a great unwash. Let there be a great. Let it be like. What's that section in the Bible where Ramses is like, and so Moses is like, all your firstborns are done. So this is like Passover. All your machines are done. All your cogs on the wheels are done. Y'all can catch a case. Y'all are done. All you juggernauts. We know black people in your artistic team, but black people in the front. All you juggernauts.
Everyone is guilty, okay? So leave us
all
alone.
Are punished, like Romeo and Juliet. Not to quote a white man, all are punished. So what are you gonna do? But if all are punished, what are you gonna do?
Don't come for me. Exactly, like because you can't come for us without looking at the whole great white way. Please leave us alone. Y'all love slave play, but hate Book of Mormon. I don't know where Anyway, so that's one of my final thoughts. Leave us alone.
She was like, I got a daughter.
I got bills to pay. Okay, so niggas got bills to pay. Don't close all the shows until
if you want to close all of them,
until Kim has paid her bills.
If you want to close all of them, be my guest. But you don't come for we didn't sit. Don't. If we're not gonna have an all-encompassing conversation, then we just shouldn't have it. Anyway, that's one of my thoughts. One of my other thoughts is,
Remember, Kim, you will also be back next week. I will not. So you.
Listen, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just saying, don't come for us. Stop coming for. I'm tired of reading all y'all little Facebook exposés on the show that I'm in. I be reading them. I be in there like, what are these people? What are they saying? Okay. All right. Okay. But if I were to write an English 200 paper on any of these shows, it would all come out to the same conclusion. So I don't even know what we're doing
Racism. We come out to the same conclusion of racism.
That's what that's what I'm just saying. Not coming for us. Like,
we did not send for you. We did not send for you.
We didn't send. We was minding our business. And then all of a sudden, Book of Mormon is racist, slams computer. Like, leave us alone, y'all. Anyway, yeah, that and it's go outside.
I'll save my comment for after the show.
Go outside. Please go outside. Enjoy the weather. Drink your water, please.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. Take care of your skin. Wear that SPF. We don't want to get skin cancer out here. And that's it. Live your life. Eat good food. You know what I'm saying? Like, live your life, y'all. And mind your business and stop trying to shut my shit down. Because because people are going to come. Okay? So I just don't want y'all to be mad when it's still because people are going to come. Like, what's that story? Didn't What's that story have a racist in it or a sexual assault? What's that story have a person who sexually assaulted someone in that cast?
And Guzzy?
Y'all don't want to shut them down.
They did try to shut them down. They actually did. People did.
But where are the Facebook exposés? Or we just don't care about that. We just care about the Book of Mormon.
One at a time.
Leave us alone, y'all.
Well,
anyway, that's what I got.
That's our show. All are punished.
Let me put this up here.
we've what last step? Let's see. The views and opinions expressed on Off Book, the Black Theater Podcast, are those of individuals and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Broadway Black. So we've hit our marks. We've shot some shots. We've done our thing. And thank you so much for listening here on Off Book. I'm Ngozi Ayaun.
I am theatrical ancestor Jason VC.
And I am Kim Exum. And
Peace,
this
y'all.
is the fucking theme song. Oh, don't I have to put the banner on? It doesn't matter. We were 80 minutes late today. Here we go. Okay. I didn't mute us.
No other host like me. You'll see.
Shoot you up.
Hi, bitches.
We're on one, y'all. Peace and love. Peace and love.